Okay, beautiful ignited souls. I am Crimate Queen and welcome on the Us ship. US is United Souls. In case you're wondering whether it's the United States, but United States is a state of being, how we in a community could be. Okay, so we are talking about sexual trauma, sexual abuse, and I'm just going to try and consolidate few videos that I have done and just see how concise I can make them. I'm hoping, in fact, I'm going to call on the gods, the 14 gods that we are the embodiment of, to bring out, to help bring out the words, because we are words. I am the word, you are the word. So, in that united soul state, so we can find the healing necessary to get onto that ship. So we are ready, fit enough for the journey that we are on, that fifth dimension. And it is so crucial that we do this because things are happening so speedily. And if we do not equip our minds, our body, and our spirits, oh, there'll be just too much to cope with. And our immune system, our spiritual immunity needs that boost. And this is why I am so grateful and thankful for the course that I have embarked on. Now, if you recall, for those of you who have been watching and following me more closely, in the month of December, I think it was December, I did a video where I more or less confess, and I felt it was just necessary to do that video, although I wasn't doing sexual trauma videos on that at that time. But I had started advertising this course for self full love course on Facebook. And I did the course, or I felt I had done the course, and advertised it to begin in the month of December. But somehow, I wasn't feeling it like the young people would say. I just wasn't feeling it. Something was amiss. And so I went into meditation and I did a video and I explained my feelings about that video, that I don't know why I'm almost, in fact, I was very close to thinking perhaps I shouldn't be doing this, but I knew in my heart that I had to. Not had to, it was my calling. So I continued, I put the word out, universe, lead me, guide me. I know it is in my heart to do this. I know I want to do this, but there is something I'm needing to do, be, or have, or see so I can move on. So help me. And so, and also with the expression of the willingness to wanting to do this. So I want to be equipped enough to do this. So there it was upon my heart. And I've got the date written down somewhere, but I found myself one day doing a ritual, which I hadn't understood it was a ritual. Well, I wasn't thinking consciously I was doing this ritual, but I will tell you, on that day, that particular day, I had been doing some meditation that led me to actually reciting or going through the whole book of Psalms, 150 Psalms. And I will tell you, I wasn't rushing them. I was just driven or going through, like really going through this meditation of the Psalms. I don't often get down on my knees, but I feel that day just before the Psalms, I was on my knees as well. And so in that experience, it led me on to feeling somewhat like there was a veil. It's like I had pierced a veil, or I was on the edge where I could see both sides of two worlds. And I became conscious that I was on this edge of seeing two sides. And I thought, what just happened? I remember asking myself what happened and trying to trace my steps back to seeing what happened to get some insight on what I had done or what had happened, only to lead me onto another part of this ritual that revealed the main course that I now have prepared, which is a 4 or 5 module course, but it goes over 5 days. And that is specifically for people who have been sexually traumatized, sexually abused. If someone has offended someone sexually, or the perpetrator or the victim, it doesn't matter, male, female, whoever you are, human being, this is the course, and it's called the Revolutionary Spiritual Healing Code. It is a code that is it is your code. So I won't be speaking much more on this course. If people are interested, please direct message me, whichever way, leave a message or your contacts, whatever, I can reach you. My main purpose here now is to talk about the sexual trauma, that it's something that is that gets embedded for so deeply within our psyche, so deeply within our soul. It's like some people would say, you're damaged goods, and so, which is very sad. But this is how deep this goes, because it's like it, as I say, it leaves a template. It's like a template that if once you're not healed, you tend to wonder, why are you attracting the same type of people who are going to still abuse you sexually or emotionally or spiritually, but they are still replicating the pain and the hurt. They are representing that. So I find that in my teachings, and since I've been on the spiritual path, and yes, I have written and published 2 volumes of my healing, but then I understood something more through this revolutionary spiritual healing course, and that there is something magical. In short, I'm just going to say this, that the universe has now brought something that balances, it counterbalances the world that we are in, the state of affairs. This is the one of the volumes that I've written. And so something says to me, just read a little something. Spirit says to do that, or I haven't, or let's put on the other specs. And I just like to go with when I get and here's a question I had on there, and it says, what do I need to make this course my, oh my, people, people, this is, I mean, I'm doing this, I'm just recording this. This is confirmation here. And on here, it says, what do I need to make this course happen? This is my question. I knew I had written the books. I knew I have the experience. I knew I have the skills, but something was missing, and I had to ask. And I'm putting the book away, and Spirit is saying, "No, it's like I have to. You're here with me. This is what happens when you are healed. Everything happens so synchronistically, so immediate, so instant. You are guided, and this is what I'm saying. I listen. And this is what you will learn to listen when you are healed from this sexual experience or trauma. So I feel that's what Spirit wanted me to to see. However, we are going to still read something. Okay, so wow, what okay, I'll go here. Hey, things came to a bump approximately 3 weeks before Mother's passing. I had accepted Yvonne's invitation to go to St. Lucia. That was after a few months of joyously reuniting with my 5-year-old son, Daniel. He had returned from living at the family home on the island. I had just closed down my clothing business after awakening to the fact that my son was my business. The fact he was calling me auntie over the phone had sent alarm bells ringing. It was time to handle my responsibility as a mother. On experiencing a slower pace of life, I began to reconnect with the joys of children's laughter and the smiles of people passing by. I saw flowers beamed with colors that had previously gone unnoticed. Then I missed my loved ones. I was living on the other side of the coin. The bright side would be my side from now on. This I told myself. So I just listen. This is what it's about. This journey of being healed and cultivating the art of self-love. To cultivate the art of self-love, an essential ingredient is to listen, is for us to learn to listen. So sexual trauma, because we do numerology and numerology sheds so much light on all of this, we understand through the numerical value of sexual trauma here, which sexual is 10. When we do the numerical value for the number or word 10, this is where we get the feminine aspect that breeds. It's like putting a seed in the soil. So likewise, the words have the seed and everything. It's that feminine part that shows you everything. The numbers in the figures or symbols of what we project out, but the words are actually the feminine thing. This is where things actually get cultivated or um, cultivated. I was going to say when you put the seed in the ground. Okay, so so 10 is actually 12. So we see 12 coincides with the 12 disciples, the 12 hours of the day, the 12 zodiac signs, 12 months of the year, 12 tribes of Judah, and so on and so on and so on. So that tells us that this sexual, the term sexual, is creation in itself. It has that strong correlation, not only that it is 12, as in, and here to show of creation is TWELVE. If we did this in its glad rags, is 255345, and adding this together is 9. Let's see, yeah, 12. This is 22, 24. 2 plus 4, again, 24 hours of the day. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 days of creation and the number of man. So this is the Genesis. Genesis equals 6, or person. Here we have person, person, equals 33, which is 6. Christ died at 33 because in death at the age of 33, and why again we could see where 2 is death, the death number, because 3 in its glad rags, the word 3, when you see 3 or you see 1111, this is actually 33. In fact, in short, someone did ask me about the number, they see the 111. That is actually 33. You are beginning that new age or new age of creation. So it's 3 3 here Three. This is 11 and this is 11. That's what 1 1 is about. We found a shortcut today. But in essence, that there is something, there's the death that has happened and it's time to create. It's a new time for creation. So these two seeds or the 1 1 is that which has been, again, two seeds in the ground. So in the figure form, you could say, if we did 6 free, there's two seeds left in the ground. That is the representation of death. This is a deep wisdom that is coming to me actually. And this is again wisdom, the word wisdom. This is why it is said you will find wisdom in the marketplaces, under a bush, under a bushel, whatever it is. You will find wisdom everywhere because it is in plain sight, yet it is hidden because it is also in depth in some way. 1 1 is 2. Okay. So that's when there's all the potential of life and growth, or life and death. Let's get a pen that writes. So back to 12, we see 12 is 6 equals 24, which is 6. There was an interesting word that I got today with that is also 33. I feel I would have loved to do that. Looking at people, person, and all those things here that has the numerical value of 33. So again, trauma, of course, has the numerical value of 2. 2, of course, has the correlation with the number 11. So when we look at on the sacrifice template, for instance, we have seen that for those of you who have not seen the sacrifice template, everything is done on this. Please watch anything on the sacrifice template by Crimey Queen to get a clearer understanding of this. So we have 3 sections. We have seen 369, 369. This template has opened up vortex of wisdom for us. So there we go with the sacrifice, because we wanted to understand what is this sacrifice about. And that is what people use. We find this across the world. It may be more proliferated, more common in some countries or in some communities or in some cultures more than others. But this has happened through ancient times where fathers going by, it's almost like they're taking on a scripture verse about the paying tithe or bringing offerings or the first fruits. The first fruits. So if a man, for instance, has a family, his children are seen as the fruit of his, or the fruit of his womb, or of his loin, the fruit of the wife, the fruit of that relationship. And so they feel that they have a right to have their first fruit, the first fruits, meaning that they would have sex with their children before they get before this person has their partner, or get married or anything like that. And oftentimes this is done as a ritual. Of course, because it is a pleasurable act as well, you find some people they addicted or go back and do it, and it becomes their life. Or they feel that they have to then have the first fruit of each fruit, meaning the first fruit or the first picking of each tree or each branch or each leaf, however you want to put it. And so this is one of the I'm not quite sure exactly if that was the main reason why, although it may appear to be like that, that I had fallen under this spell, if you like, but it is quite a common one. And so I was saying that I also feel that I will have to do other videos on this, that there are certain scripture verses though, or practices that I feel has rendered, that has foster that kind of behavior. So it's a sacrifice. They sacrifice. And I feel it was Abraham's brother or Lot. Lot and his wife, or one of them anyway, they were ready to give their daughters to some man and just to save the angels who had come to them, whatever it was. This is how it was like the female was seen as a commodity that they could um, batter and do the uh, negotiations with. Now, that is not to say that there wasn't a time that female didn't have the ways of creating or their own ways. There are other things that over time of creation, we see that behaviors are changing, but not human behavior. To be honest, it is just that we are taking on different roles and playing out the different roles of creation. So let's go back to this because I feel I'm going to have to speak more on this subject and, of course, cultivate the art of self-love. Now, we have mentioned self-love here in this when we talk about the depth of damage or depth of I don't know if I can put another terminology to it, but the impact is so deep that we who have been traumatized have to work hard and or have worked hard, and thankfully the universe have heard our cries right now and given us something much easier with TRSHC, which only is 5 days, but it's what it requires is specific times, specific, which can only be done 4 times of the year. So that in itself is a ritual. It has to be done ritualistically all through the Bible. It's an ancient wisdom of many, 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 many years. You will not have heard of it, but it is in the scriptures and it has been passed on to me. I am grateful and thankful for this. So, through numerology, we are learning about trauma. Trauma is a god. If you listen to the Old Testament, and the God of he says, come to me trembling. He wants trauma. He wants trembling. He wants you to shake. He wants you to feel fear. And that is that was the seed, or that was sown in the person who has been sexually traumatized. You were with fear, and so you would only breed fear. Even in your healing, if you are still timid in a sense of someone approaches you who looks like the person who molested you, and that fear, wherever it is permeated in your behavior, if not transformed, you are going to pass it on to your children, onto your seed, or into your workplace, or into your family life through your husband. You will be passing that on. Now, even if you have children and your child does not really experience sexual abuse as you know it, their children can in turn, because everything has season and cycles, their children in turn, and I have seen this happen, can do the same. So it is our responsibility to cap this all together, hold the bull by the horn, so to speak. I'm just saying here, we have six. Six now is the number of creation. When we do six in its glad rags, this is 196. Of course, this is 16. This is why when you were 16 here, or when it's your 16th birthday. This is so important. This is so significant. 1 plus 6 is 7. This is creation here. 6 days of creation, the seventh day of rest. So we spoke about the trammel, the God. This is why it is important. Whatever you set, if you set something, put something, this is what happens here. Trauma equals 8 as in 20. And we also did it as in 2 and not. 2 TWO is 4 equals 13. 1 plus 3 is 4. And we also did not, NOT, which is also 13. And here 4 plus 4 is 8. So when you ate, this is what all this story is about. That we when we learn to understand the story of Adam and Eve who ate, there is something that they set. There was a setting. They set something new by eating. Hence, um, food is used as such rituals. So I'm going to leave this here because there's so much to talk on this subject, much more. And but please share the videos as well if you can. It's I know it's sensitive, but you could just share it and say, oh, this person. Whatever it is. Okay. But do like and subscribe. And thank you for sharing and liking. And stay ignited.